Now, example 2.15. Let us consider an equation 1 half mv square is equal to mgh, where m is the mass of the body, v is the velocity, g is the acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height. Check whether this equation is dimensionally correct. See, we need to check dimensional consistency of this equation, and for that we have to check whether the left hand side dimensions of this equation and the right hand side dimensions of this equation are same or not. So let us start from left hand side first. Here in left hand side we are having 1 half mv square, and we know that we have to consider m and v only in this case because 1 half is a constant and constants are not considered in dimensional analysis. So I have to take the dimension of m and I have to take the dimension of v with a square there, and now dimension of mass is m1 and dimension of velocity is L1 t minus 1 raised to square. So as a whole this becomes m1 L2 t minus 2. This is our left hand side. Now let us see right hand side. In right hand side we are having mgh. So we have to take dimension of small m, that is mass, small g, that is gravitational acceleration, and small h, that is height. Now dimension of mass is m1, dimension of gravitational acceleration. See, gravitational acceleration is again one sort of acceleration only, and for acceleration the dimensional formula is L1 t minus 2. So it is L1 t minus 2 for g also, and for h it is height, and height is one sort of length only, and that's why the dimension formula will be L1. So as a whole this becomes m1 L2 and t minus 2. So here is the dimension formula of right side. You can see both the dimension formula are same. Thus here the dimensions of left hand side and right hand side are same. So the equation is dimensionally correct. So this is our answer, that this equation is dimensionally correct. Now example 2.16. The SI unit of energy is joule, that is equal to kilogram meter square second inverse square. That of speed v is meter per second, and of acceleration a is meter per second square. Which of the formulae for kinetic energy capital K given below can you rule out on the basis of dimensional arguments? Here m stands for the mass of the body. The first equation is A, K is equal to m square v cube. In B, K is equal to 1 half mv square. In C, K is equal to ma. In D, K is equal to 3 by 8 mv square. In E, K is equal to 1 half mv square plus ma. See here, the left side is kinetic energy in all of these equations, and we need to check dimensionally which equation is correct. For that, we will compare the dimensions of left side with the dimension of right side of every equation. Let us see one by one. Here, the left hand side is having kinetic energy, so we have to take the dimension of kinetic energy. Now the unit of kinetic energy is joule, and here it is given that joule is equal to kilogram meter square second inverse square. So from this equation we can create the dimensional formula of kinetic energy. How? Let us see. See, kilogram is unit of mass. That means here I can write m raised to 1. Then meter is unit of length, and here it is meter square. So I can write L raised to 2. Then second is the unit of time, and here is second raised to minus 2. That means here in dimensional formula I can write T raised to minus 2. So m1 L2 T raised to minus 2 is the dimensional formula of kinetic energy. Now let us check the right hand side of every equation. We'll start from A. In the first equation A, the right hand side is, you can see, m square v cube. So I have to put the dimensional formula of m, then square, and dimensional formula of v and cube. So obviously it will be m square, and for velocity the dimensional formula is L t minus 1 and cube. So as a whole we can write it is m square L cube t minus cube. This is what is the right hand side of the first equation. Here we can see that left hand side is not equal to right hand side, because the left hand side was m1 L2 t minus 2 and the right hand side is m2 L3 t minus 3, which is not same. Thus this equation is wrong. Now let us see the second equation B. Here K is equal to 1 half mv square is given. So the right hand side will have 1 half mv square, in which this 1 half is dimensionless. It's a number, so 1 half is dimensionless. So we'll start from m. The dimensional formula of mass small m, and then dimensional formula of velocity and square. Obviously the dimensional formula of mass will be capital M, and for velocity it is L t minus 1 and whole square. So solving this as a whole, we will get m1 L2 t minus 2, which you can see is exactly same as the left hand side. So here left hand side and right hand side are same. Thus this equation is dimensionally correct. See here, we cannot say that this equation is exactly correct or not, but yes, dimensionally it is correct. Now in the third equation, that is C, the right hand side is MA. So the dimension formula of right hand side will be from the dimension of mass M and dimension of acceleration A. And the dimension formula of mass M is capital M, and for the acceleration A is L T minus 2. So as a whole, this becomes M1 L1 T minus 2, which is not equal to the left side. So here left hand side and right hand side is not same. Thus this equation is wrong, obviously. Now for the fourth equation, that is D, the right hand side is given as 3 by 8 mv square. Now this 3 by 8 is a number again, and that is not considered in any dimension formula, whether it is 3 by 8 or whether it is 3 by 16 or whatever. It is a number, so will not be considered. And so in right hand side I have to start from the dimension of m, mass, and then velocity v and square. And the dimensional formula of mass again is capital M. For velocity it is L and t minus 1, but raised to square. So as a whole, this gives us m1 L2 t minus 2. Now for this equation, the left hand side and the right hand side is having same dimension formula, so it is same, because the left side was having dimension formula m1 L2 t minus 2, and the right side is also having the same dimension formula. Thus this equation is dimensionally correct. We can just say it is dimensionally correct. We cannot say whether it is exactly correct or not. Now let us see the fifth equation, that is E, which is having two terms in right hand side. So in this case we have to consider the dimension formula of both of the terms of right hand side. So I'll put first right hand side 1, where I'll consider the dimension formula of 1/2 mv square, which we have already derived. So I'll just put the dimension formula of 1/2 mv square, that is m1 L2 t minus 2. This we already checked in equation second equation. And the second term of right hand side is ma, which I'll put right hand side 2, that is the dimension formula of ma. That is also what we have sought out in the third equation, and there the dimension formula was m1 L1 and t minus 2. Now here you can see that both of this dimension formula are not same. Thus here I can write left hand side is equal to right hand side 1 but not equal to right hand side 2. The left side was having dimension formula m1l2t minus 2, and here this right hand side 1 is having the same m1l2t minus 2, but the right hand side 2 is not having the same, and that's why I have written left hand side is equal to right hand side 1 but not equal to right hand side 2. But in this case also this equation is not correct. Thus this equation is wrong, because you need that left hand side and right hand side 1 and right hand side 2, all three should be same, then only we can say it is dimensionally correct, but it is not happening here. That's why we will say that equation is wrong. In short, finally this first equation is dimensionally wrong. The second equation is dimensionally right. The third equation is dimensionally wrong again. The fourth equation is dimensionally right, and the fifth equation is dimensionally wrong. Here, out of this second and the fourth equation, obviously one of the equation will be right, because the second equation is 1 half mv square and the fourth equation is 3 by 8 mv square. Both cannot be right. Only one will be right. So for that you have to go with the definition, or either you have to go with the experiment. You have to do the experiment and then you have to check value wise which equation is going to be correct. But that is not the question which is asked here. We have to just check on the basis of dimensional arguments. So as per that, the second and the fourth equations are dimensionally correct. Now example 2.17. Consider a simple pendulum having a bob attached to a string that oscillates under the action of force of gravity. Suppose that the period of oscillation of the simple pendulum depends on its length L, mass of the bob m, and acceleration due to gravity g. Derive the expression for its time period using the method of dimensions. Let me draw the figure first. Here this is a bob, and it is oscillating something like this. This is a bob having mass m. The length of this string, that means the length of this pendulum, is L, and here the gravitational acceleration is equal to g, and the periodic time of this pendulum is depending on all of these three physical quantities. So we can write that the periodic time T is depending on mass, length, and gravitational acceleration g. Here we can write this equation more specifically by saying that T is proportional to m raised to a, L raised to b, and g raised to c, where this a, b, c are the magnitudes of the exponents of m, l, and g, because till now we don't know whether it will be m raised to 1 or m raised to minus 1 or m raised to 2, and the same is for l and g. That's why we are just putting a variables for these exponents like a, b, c, and let me mention that here a, b, and c belongs to the real number r. It can be anything, that's why it belongs to real number r. So now I can write this equation with equal to sign and putting a proportionality constant k, and then m raised to a, L raised to B and G raised to C. Let me name this as number 1 equation. Mind well, this K is a proportionality constant and it is dimensionless. Now what we'll do? Now we'll use the method of dimensional analysis. First, we will take the dimension formula of the left side and then we will take the dimension formula of right side and we will compare both of them. From that, we will get the values of this exponents A, B, C, and that we will put here in this equation. So we will get the final equation of this periodic time T. So let us do that. Considering dimensions on both the sides. Now the left side is having periodic time T and the dimension formula of periodic time T can be written as M0 L0 T1. Now the right side is having the first term as small k, which is a dimensionless constant. So we will not consider that. Then comes mass. For mass small m, the dimension formula can be written as just m1 raised to a. Then comes length L. So for that the dimension formula can be written as just L1, but the power is B. Then comes the dimensional formula of G, which is gravitational acceleration. So it is one sort of acceleration, and for acceleration the dimension formula is L1 T minus 2 raised to C. Solving this, we will get as a whole m raised to A and L raised to, you can see it will be B plus C, and then T raised to minus 2C. Now we will compare dimensions on both the sides. Comparing dimensions of both sides. See, here on the left side we are having m raised to 0, on the right side we are having m raised to a. That means we can compare the powers that a is equal to 0. So I am getting the first value a equals to 0. This is the first value which will be useful. Then we can compare L raised to 0, that is equal to L raised to B plus C, means B plus C is equal to 0. So I am getting the second equation, B plus C equals to 0. I can compare now the power of T. Here on the left side we are having T raised to 1, on the right side we are having T raised to minus 2C. That means I can compare the power minus 2C equals to 1. So I am getting minus 2C equals to 1. But that means C equals to minus 1 by 2. So here I am getting the value of C. But if C is minus 1 by 2, then from this equation B plus C is equal to 1, I can write that B minus 1 by 2 equals to 0. And so we can say that B is equal to 1 by 2. So that way, now I am having three values, A equal to 0 and C equal to minus 1 by 2 and B equal to plus 1 by 2, which I will place in this first equation. So let us do that. Placing the above values in equation 1. So we can write T is equal to K m raised to A, but A is now 0, then L raised to B, but B is now 1 by 2, and G raised to C, but C is now minus 1 by 2. So I can put this equation as T is equal to K under root of L upon G, because m raised to 0 became 1, L raised to 1 by 2 is root L, and G raised to minus 1 by 2 is 1 upon root G. So we have this equation T is equal to K under root of L upon G. Now we don't know the value of proportionality constant K. It's a dimensionless and a constant. And with the dimensional analysis, we cannot sort out the value of K. So we have to do one experiment. Means we have to really create this type of situation where we have to take a pendulum of length L, mass m under the gravitational acceleration G, and then we have to oscillate it. So when we will oscillate, we will have some periodic time t. We will get some periodic time t, which we can note down with the help of stop clock or something like that. So now we are having the periodic time t, and we are having the length L, which we can measure by any scale or something like that, and we can also measure the mass m. Now we have to put all of these values what we have got in this equation along with the value of gravitational acceleration G, which is 9.8. I repeat, from that experiment we have to put the value of t here, we have to put the value of length here, we have to put the gravitational acceleration G here. So the remaining is K, and from that we can make this K as subject and can get the value of K, and this value of K will always come equal to 2 pi. I repeat, whatever setup you do of this kind, whatever length you put, whatever mass you take, you will get from this experiment the value of K equal to 2 pi only. And so now I am writing that experimentally K is equal to 2 pi, and so I can put this value now in this equation and can write that T is equal to 2 pi under root of L upon G. So this is our final equation of periodic time T for any pendulum. I repeat, for any pendulum.